For over 34 years, Rabbi Hecht had a partner in the work in the National Committee for the Furtherance of Jewish Education. He held a position as Director of Release Time Program, Director of Membership, now Director of Development. He's also the spiritual leader of the New Brighton Jewish Center, working to bring the NCFJE into the 21st century. We'd like to call upon Rabbi Faivel Rimler to present the award to Rabbi JJ Hecht.
Thank you, Rabbi JJ Hecht, Rabbi JJ Hecht, Rabbi Shalom Hecht, members of the Hecht family, Dinner Chairman Sam Dohm, Journal Chairman Herb Weiss, National President Joe Fish, worthy rabbis, honorable representatives of federal, state, and city government, distinguished guests of the dais, and dear friends. The founder of Chabad and first Rebbe of the world-famous Lubavitcher dynasty, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Leadi, said that one must live with the time. He explained this to mean that one should seek guidance and inspiration from the Torah portion of the week. In this week's Torah portion we read, Vayal Yaakov ki yesh shevel b'Mitzrayim. And Jacob saw that there is hope in Egypt. Our patriarch Jacob, after grieving 22 years for his son Joseph, whom he loved so dearly, and assumed that he was dead, suddenly had a divinely inspired intuition that his cherished, missing son may not have died, but that he may still be found alive somewhere in Egypt. Although Joseph had disappeared at the tender age of 17 years and was all alone for 22 years in a land and in an environment that was so extremely alien that he could not be expected to retain even the remotest identity with his Jewish roots, a place described as Elvas Ha'oretz, the world's capital of immorality. Yet, in spite of the overwhelming odds against finding Joseph morally intact and spiritually alive and responsive, Jacob held out high hope for his long-lost beloved son. His hopes and faith were borne out when Joseph was finally found morally and spiritually intact, loyal to his father's teaching and completely unaffected by the corrupt environment in which he was enveloped alone for more than 2 decades. Dear friends, at a time when most people gave up on the American Jewish youth, when almost everyone was resigned to the notion that in this intense assimilationist environment of the American melting pot, our children and grandchildren cannot be expected to remain attached to their Jewish roots, that we have no alternative but to concede that the Jewish youth of America is spiritually doomed, that Judaism has no future on these shores. There was a Yaakov who, being motivated, inspired, and guided by the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe of sainted memory, and by his successor, the present Rebbe Shlita, stood up against this most ominous forecast of doom and said, Yesh shevel b'Mitzrayim. There is hope in America, and there is a future in American youth. That American-born Jewish youth, too, possess the spark of the divine soul that can be fanned into a live, burning flame with the most intense love and passion passion for Torah, God, and Israel, that they too can rise in the study of Torah and in the observance of mitzvahs with the level of fervor and piety equal to preceding Jewish generations. By means of religious instruction for Jewish children attending public schools, Camp Hamuna for girls of all ages and backgrounds, Hadar HaTorah for college boys, Mechon Chana for college girls, the Ivy League Torah study program for highly intellectual Ivy League university students, and by the weekly dynamic radio broadcasts and other programs, the Yaakov of our time reached out and touched tens of thousands of American boys and girls, men and women, whose dormant souls were awakened and whose stifled spark of spiritual life was steered into a blazing torch, so that today there are several generations of American-born Jewish men and women, numbering many hundreds of thousands, who proudly carry the banner of Torah and Jewish tradition, and are staunch supporters of a secure Eretz Yisrael, and are our guarantee of Jewish survival the world over. All this thanks to the self-sacrificing, tenacious, and unrelenting efforts of the Yaakov of our time, Rabbi Yaakov Yehuda, lovingly known as Rabbi JJ Hecht, Zechreinei Levracha. The stubborn and relentless persistence of our Yaakov, that Oid Yosef B'ni Chai, that our Jewish youth is still alive, has earned for him the divine reward in equal measure of Midah Keneged Midah, that in the words of our sages, Yaakov lo imes, Yaakov did not die. May I ask everyone to please rise. Rabbi Yaakov Yehuda Hecht, although your chair stands empty, you are here nonetheless. While we do not see you, we believe that your sacred soul is closely following this event. All of us present here tonight, who are also representative of many more dear friends and admirers who wanted to come but couldn't personally attend this function, give you standing testimony to the words of our sages that Yaakov lo imes, Yaakov did not and will not die. Ma'azale b'chaim, afhu b'chaim. Rabbi Yaakov Yehuda, you are alive by the virtue of the multitudes of Jewish children you saved spiritually and physically, and by virtue of the many thousands you taught, educated, and inspired to lead a Torah way of life. Rabbi Hecht, we all basked in your unusual warmth and exceptional congenial friendship during your lifetime. The love we have in our hearts for you has not waned since and never will. In retrospect, the realization of how much of your heart, mind, and indeed your very life was involved in the work of the National Committee for the Furtherance of Jewish Education, and how intense and profound an impact its success or failure had upon your health. We feel that although you never burdened us with unreasonable or excessive demands, for the only one you overtaxed was yourself, we feel that we may not have done enough to help you. It is weighing upon our conscience that perhaps had we given a bit more of ourselves, a little more financial support to the NCFJE, we might have added years to your life on earth. Yes, we know that you never said this to us, And even if it crossed your mind, you have surely forgiven us. But we cannot easily forgive ourselves. And we solemnly pledge that your life's work, the NCFJE and its affiliated divisions, which are now under the able direction of your beloved Rebbitzin and your devoted children, God bless them, will continue to thrive and flourish. For with the help of God, we will stand by their side, and we will support them in the work of the NCFJE in every possible way until Mashiach comes and beyond. It is now my honor and privilege to call upon the distinguished lifelong partner of Rabbi JJ Hecht, the one who deserves the greatest credit for the gift and blessing of this great human being and public servant, from whom we all benefited in so many ways, who stood beside him in all his undertakings and struggles, and made untold sacrifices to ensure his success, and who shared the burdens and responsibilities in the noblest way. Rebbitzin Chava Hecht. I'd like to call upon the artist, Michael Schwartz. Now, God has a partner. God created the world, and Michael Schwartz creates these awards. As a token of our recognition to you, and as a symbol of our genuine feelings, we are proud to present you with this award as an indication of our continued commitment. I'm going to call upon my own dear partner in life, Rabbi Rimler, to make this presentation to Rabbi Hecht. Before I do, let me just, with Michael behind me, tell you what it says over here. It's you have here the entire composition of Amar Hashem Li'Yaakov. This is a beautiful song and poem and prayer which is said every Shabbos Nacht. And every line begins with another a letter of the Aleph base and concludes with the name Yaakov. And then underneath it, we have the song that Rabbi Hecht used to sing in Camp Amuna every Motzei Shabbos. Yankel, Yankel, ab Kamoile. Hoffen, Hoffen, Hoff zum Beule. I don't know how to sing it, so I'm just saying it. What else goes here? Wird dir geben, gesund und leben, was du wirst, dafür wird dir geben. And then it says, on the bottom it says, V'hoya zalacha kafal ha'oletz, Ufaratsto yomo v'kedmo v'tzofeino v'negbo v'nivluchu b'cho kol mishpreis v'adomo v'zalecho. That's it, right? Okay. Now, in the bottom of this, there is a plate which reads, presented to Rebbitzin Chava Hecht at the 50th Jubilee dinner of the National Committee for the Furtherance of Jewish Education, in memoriam to the legacy of her late husband, Rabbi JJ Hecht of blessed memory, Ner Aleph de Chanukah, December 11, 1990, Teish Nas Halen and the Flois. That stands for 5,751, the year in which we are in. Sam Dome Dinner Chairman, Shapsi Gordon Associate Chairman, Joseph Fish, National President. Rebbitzin, would you please give this to Rebbitzin? Thank you.
The dinner chairman, please.
Sam.